Let's get right into
All
it.
right.
All right. Oh my God. Thank you for being so patient. Sometimes.
Well, thank you for being patient with me.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, because I've been there and I know sometimes how like some of these connections can be.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
So yes, let's get back to where we were before.
yeah. So, my name is Shaina Donaldson. I'm a peristeam practitioner and I offer holistic solutions and remedies and services for women concerning their womb and vaginal care.
Mhm. I
Yes.
love that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. So as I told when I met you for my and the amazing thing with your practice, which I love a lot, is you meet
Mm-hmm.
ladies and
Yes.
and I'm sure sometimes you get some, men as well, because there
Actually,
might
I
be.
haven't got any guys yet.
Yeah, oh, okay, okay. Who knows? Maybe you might be able to open that. Maybe through this, they might be, hey, maybe VT and me can be of benefit to them, to
Yeah.
our counterpart, our male, counterparts. So, every now and then we have the girls' night out or lunch or whatever, and we get to talking about our VJJs, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll keep it nice and clean because we don't want TikTok or to block us from posting our post. So we got into talking, and especially as we women we start to, you know, get older or have kids and all that stuff, things then the flora start to, change a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So some of us will maybe go to our OBGYN and say, hey, this and that and there. Sometimes they don't want to hear it. They're like, 10 minutes, we did your whatever exam we need to give, keep it moving. I'll see you back in 2 years. And you come
Yeah.
out confused. You're like frazzled. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't get any answers. What's going on here? So, you probably jump on the internet or friends will tell you, oh no, just douche, a lot of douching. My
Mm-hmm.
OBGYN, my primary care, both of them, because I drive them crazy. I'm like, I don't know, something's not right. So
Yeah.
they told me douching is totally unnecessary, which I completely agree from the scientific standpoint, from medical standpoint. It depletes down there from all the good natural stuff because it's supposed to be self-cleaning. So if you're
Yeah.
introducing a lot of, chemical-based stuff down there to quote unquote keep it clean, the
Mm-hmm.
thing is doing what it needs to do. But
Mm-hmm.
tell us how, V-steaming is a little more of an, maybe I shouldn't say a little more, it's more of a natural approach to support,
Yeah.
because the flora down there can shift based on, I believe, our hormones,
Yeah.
time of the month and not at time of the month, stress, trauma, all of that stuff
Mm-hmm.
also impact how are down there, and then the capacity for
Mm-hmm.
our womb to
Mm-hmm.
carry and not carry, or carry things that we don't want, like fibroids or
Yeah.
cysts. I've had cysts,
Mm-hmm.
I still have cysts. They just monitor it. They say, oh, it's still tiny. We'll keep
Mm-hmm.
it there. We'll keep an eye every 2 years. If it gets too
Mm-hmm.
big, we might have to consider surgery. And that's
Mm-hmm.
scary. But not to talk
Mm-hmm.
about women who might have fibroids that's taking the place of, maybe a baby and they're struggling with infertility.
Mm-hmm.
I'll cut my jabbing on short and get straight to the point. Can you tell us how that's different, V-steaming, the benefit of that, and how it's different from using, CVS, Walgreens,
Mm-hmm.
douche, things like that?
Yes. So, V-steaming, I like to refer to it as preventative care.
Hmm.
Though the vagina is very self cleansing and it can do that, as you
Right.
mentioned, the most slightest things can offset our pH balance. And it can cause a reaction,
Mhm.
that varies for every woman, but it's not sometimes the most appeasing reaction, right? So
Yes.
I like to look at vaginal steaming as a spa treatment for your vagina.
Yeah.
And I would say what makes it so profound and so such a beautiful practice to to incorporate into your self-care is that it's gentle, it's non-invasive. um, and it also provides a way for you to connect with yourself, to affirm what you want for yourself by using your own power, your own words, your own affirmation, and really getting more acquainted with self. Whereas when you take something from your local, convenience store or wherever or what have you, it's more so like a quick fix. So you're not really placed in that state to connect with yourself. It's more so just your headspace is more concerned on the solution,
Right.
getting the fix.
Right.
But with vaginal steaming, it places you into this space where you're able to take a trip into a retrospective journey, and you are able to call for the best for yourself,
Mhm.
simultaneously as you receive the healing benefits of the herbs that you use.
Right. Right.
So each herb that you may use has its own property.
Mhm.
And though, you know, um, I would say the pharmaceutical industry doesn't really talk about these things,
Of
these
course.
ingredients, you'd be surprised, are actually intertwined into medicine.
Mhm.
Some that are not even talked about.
True.
So, but it just takes longer because you're getting it from the source.
Right.
So that's why I always say it's important to connect with self
Mhm.
while you are using these herbs,
Yeah.
because it's a journey, it's a process.
Yes.
But the what makes it so amazing and so profound is that once you receive the healing, it's set. Like
Mhm.
nothing can take it away from you.
True. I love it. I
Yeah.
I was so fascinated when you mentioned and before we connected even I was checking out other women's experiences reviews on your website and was blown away first of all because you're sitting there and it gives you that moment to connect to
Yeah.
yourself and your
Hmm.
mind to your
Hmm.
body because it's all about that energy, that connection. And initially when you said it, I'm like, I didn't verbalize it. I'm like, oh, is this like, but as I sat and I felt the warmth coming from, the bottom to the top and kind of
Hmm.
in that moment, I
Hmm.
started affirming myself. I started, using that time to say all kinds of positive things about me, about my hoo-ha, all of that stuff.
Hmm.
Based on trauma history, and if you don't, trigger anybody here at all, there are women who have experienced, sexual trauma, even,
Hmm.
there are
Hmm.
women who have lost their confidence in
Yeah.
exploring even themselves or
Hmm.
exploring their, who have a JJ, whatever your unique name for your down there, you got to give it a
Yeah.
it, you got to love it and give it a
Yeah, make it personal. Yes, make it very personal.
exactly. So
Hmm.
you're so traumatized based on your history,
Hmm.
that you're just you can go through life for years, even sometimes decades, without ever having that connection in those moments. Not to talk about other connections, because if you don't nurture your your thing and you're waiting, right? You're waiting on, let's say, a partner,
Hmm.
whatever, to now kind of figure that out for you. I
Hmm.
think you're really not giving yourself the fullest version of yourself. We That is a portal really for life, because that's
Yeah.
where, for lack of words, intimacy happens. The
Yeah.
sperms go through there to form a whole human. So
Yeah.
what's better than to do that? If you're here today, you're struggling with infertility, for
Hmm.
me, I've been on that path of
Yeah.
infertility where a lot of it comes from some of the stuff that we harbor down there that sometimes can
Yeah.
travel up.
Yeah.
If you love on yourself enough, I want to say that, starting from V steaming,
Mhm.
A way
Mhm.
to, you know, just kind of get all the loving you can get down there. And I
Yep.
believe it can also even, there are women who are in their like premenopausal, menopausal stages who
Mhm.
feel like it's not the same as they were like maybe in their teenage, young 20s
Yeah.
years. What do you say to that? Is there with the steaming, because there's something about, warmth that brings,
Mhm.
fluidity or blood flow even to
Yeah.
area. What have you seen? And my second question to that
Mhm.
is what led you, like for me, what led me to is my struggle with infertility before I had
Yeah.
my 2 kids. And then also my struggle with cysts, my
Mhm.
almost there, with fibroids and things
Yeah.
like that. That led me to this journey. What led
Mhm.
you to it? And, many women you serve, and as
Mhm.
well as, do you think it helped with kind of bringing all the blood flow down there to help
Mhm.
with fertility, to help with intimacy time and all that good stuff?
Yeah. So for me, I would say what really led me into
Mm,
vaginal steaming was having a strong yearning for more,
mhm,
to really learn myself and to really learn my body. And especially like the most profound part, for
mm,
me at least,
right.
being my sacred space. So, um, though very appreciative of, my gynecologist and the relationships that we, created in our
Yeah,
bond, I still wanted more. And I knew that consisted of an intimacy that I had to be basically the flame for.
right.
I could not get that anywhere else. I had to search from within. And I would say, with, because I'm a very spiritual person. So I would say for me personally, it took prayer, it took meditation
I love.
for me to be led to this practice. Um, and with time, with research, with trial and error, with really figuring out what works for me, it was until I discovered herbal medicine, especially vaginal steaming, that has really brought me to that path of, self empowerment and being able to really understand my body and how it functions. So, different for everyone, everyone has their way, but for me, vaginal steaming and just holistic medicine has been what has really
Mhm.
transformed my life and my self esteem and everything about me.
Right.
Um, so, as you mentioned, I want to also talk about how everything has a root, right? You
Mhm,
mentioned how, sometimes trauma in the body can cause infertility, or
mhm,
can cause, the imbalances that we know of that are more common, like I would say UTIs, or something as,
yeast.
common as yeast infection,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
And though, yes, like sometimes your diet can cause these things, maybe your clothes, like the tightness of your clothes,
mhm.
what you may consume can cause these things, but sometimes it can be connected to something much more, um,
Yes.
personal, maybe something that you have not allowed yourself to let go of. And I would say, I
Yes.
bring it back to like how, vaginal steaming really brings you to that place where you can truly, do a dissecting
Mhm,
and be as transparent with yourself as possible, and releasing, as the steam is working, as the heat from the steam is penetrating into your tissue, and into your vagina, your vaginal canal. There is also something so beautiful where you can also say, I'm releasing this, I'm releasing that, I'm calling this into my life, I'm taking ownership of this. And it's literally something so transformative that it's happening simultaneously, that can cause, even I would say, a faster transformation than
mhm,
anything else, any other solution that you may try to, look out for.
mhm.
So, I would say this. I would say for every woman, I feel like it's so imperative that you figure out what works for you
Mhm.
and you are honest with yourself. And it's okay. It's okay to explore, and I feel like, and I'm an advocate for vaginal steaming, so I'm gonna say vaginal steaming is a great way for you to do that. You know
Of
what I'm saying? Because it's
course.
simplistic. You're using the elements of the earth.
Right.
You're allowing yourself to connect to
Mhm.
something that you are a part of. So
Yes.
what other way, what other solution, what makes the most sense than to connect with something that you are naturally a part of?
Yes, yes. I
So,
love that so much.
yeah.
And it's for me what you said is so profound because we're not here saying the work of our gynecology. We love our gynecologists, right?
Yes.
We love that perspective. If you're here, you believe in God, good.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have other belief. I'm just saying God, I use God because I'm a believer.
Yeah.
God gave us OBGYNs, our
Mm-hmm.
gynecologists, our midwives, our primary care, our providers,
Mm-hmm.
to guide us, to help us. But
Mm-hmm.
this V-steaming is also another additional way to support not just our body, but through that canal. And I love that so much what you said, the sense of try and error, right? Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
try, maybe even a combination of herbs.
Yeah.
That didn't work. Guess
Yeah.
what? You give up and just say, hey, they didn't work. It was not for me. It's
Yeah.
trial and error to get that
Mm-hmm.
sense of agency, right?
Yeah.
To have that sense of affirmation, grounding, and
Mm-hmm.
agency, and kind of just getting a good hold of life overall.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't happen in a linear format. You got to be willing to try and error.
Yeah.
And definitely, we are not here to say shut the door to your OBGYN. If visiting
Yeah.
your okay, I have a bunch
Right.
of I have a bunch of fibroids. No, you have to consider the other modalities, whether it
Yeah.
means you have to do fertility treatments, you have to do something like Clomid, you have to do
Yeah.
injectables to get the baby you
Yeah.
want or to get rid of what you need to get rid
Yeah.
of.
And
So
I would say this too, in addition to what you're saying, Gina, I would say um, one approach I've seen commonly with my clients is
right,
that um, they've shared with me how they've tried everything, everything that was suggested to them.
yes,
And for some reason, they just felt incomplete, like something was missing. They felt like they just needed more, and that is what led them
right,
to giving vaginal steaming a try, the holistic route a try,
right,
because they never opposed other suggestions,
for
but
sure.
they're like, and I've had clients even who may have got received a V-steam, and they after their V-steam they're like, wow, I feel like I can take it up a notch and try something else in this, in what you can offer me, because it's like something pulled them in, like they just felt like, wait a minute, this might be home for me.
The relief,
So
right,
and or even if I gave a particular blend to someone and they just felt like it didn't really do the best, and being able to be open to trying a different blend and then saying, wow, that one actually worked for me.
for
Thank
sure,
you.
right.
And just having that patience and open mindedness is so important, because we've been taught for so many years that there's only just this category of way to go, and so naturally we are just skeptical. And and it's okay to be skeptical. I always tell my clients it's okay to be skeptical, because you've been you know exposed to only what you've been exposed to, so it's okay.
Yep.
um but to trust it and to know that, okay, if this was exposed to me, maybe this is a sign, and I'm going to trust it and see what it can do for me.
Mhm.
And I would say, Gina, 98% of the time, like when they choose to play, when they choose to just trust the process, it's always successful for them. It's
It's a
always rewarding. It's
yes.
rewarding, yeah. So because it's a journey and they chose to ride the journey and trust that it's going to give them the best solution possible,
Yes,
you
yes.
know. So I always say it's more than just receiving a V-steam. It's what you believe. It's what you call forth for yourself, what you affirm, because I feel like that all plays a part. Your intention, your feeling, and then the treatment. You
Right. Oh,
know,
yeah,
those
absolutely.
that all plays a part. It's not just about just getting the V-steam. Like, okay, no, like really connect, and then you will get the result you want.
It's a mindset shift.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
really is. Yeah.
release of the maybe even like you're embodying
Mhm.
whatever trauma you might have. You're a woman here today,
Yeah.
many of us, have had some type of trauma from
Mhm.
relationships that didn't work out, right? Marriages that maybe didn't even work out. What are you embodying? And a lot of time for we women,
Mhm.
where do we embody it? In our core, in our
Yeah,
wombs.
because we are receivers.
Exactly, we receive it.
Mhm.
That's what we naturally
Yeah.
carry. And we carry
Yeah.
life. And
Yeah.
sometimes we can carry resentment. We can carry
Yeah.
anger. But
Yeah.
guess what? Many a times you gotta do what you gotta do, especially if life be lifing,
Mhm.
carry it, but you
Yeah.
carry in here. That's why a lot of women might start having back pain. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's because you're carrying right there in the core.
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
release that? And sometimes
Mhm.
that's where the shift happens. It's a
Mhm.
mindset. There are
Yeah.
women who are going through, let's say, infertility, for example. It's a
Mhm.
very touchy and sensitive. And you, until you have been in that journey, I've been on it, that journey, twice, you know. So until you've been there, it's such a heavy, and if you have people around you who might
Mhm.
similarly be traumatized, but they're not in the same journey, the same path,
Yeah.
it can be very, it can be a very visceral
Mhm.
feeling where you feel
Mhm.
like, why me? And you just want it done and over with. Like you're like,
Yeah.
one session, I should just be like done, you
Mhm.
know, but sometimes, like you said, it's a process, it's a
Yeah.
journey, it's the working on it, it's the
Yeah.
change of the shift, it's the
Yeah.
release of the energy,
Yeah.
and through the affirmation you're
Mhm.
releasing the tension, the anger,
Yeah.
the resentment, the
Mhm.
betrayal, from
Yeah.
betrayal from parents
Yeah. Yeah.
protect you, and that sexual abuse happened,
Mhm.
that neglect happened. It's from that person who walked out on you when you were
Yeah.
basing everything on them and they betrayed you, right? It's
Mhm.
from
Mhm.
that boyfriend in college that you trusted but gave
Mhm.
you that drink and ended up,
Yeah.
maybe,
So many things.
having
Yeah.
the way with you and their friends
Mhm.
too. There's so many stories. I
Yeah.
know that. Why? Because I myself, and I see a lot of women in my practice who I
Mhm.
continue to support. But
Yeah.
when I found you, you kind of align with the same type of, it's a mindset
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's feeling
Mhm.
to be present and
Mhm.
release and truly work
Yeah.
on releasing it from the core. What
Yeah.
is your thought on the like women who have had baby? Let's say you've gone through the journey and finding yes,
Mhm.
that bundle of joy. I remember my mom doing this and I didn't even know what she was doing, right? You have,
Yeah.
when I was one, a second child. So my mom had four more of us, and I was, watching her,
Yeah.
especially my siblings when they were younger. After
Mhm.
maybe she'll sit on the pot, just like
Mhm.
like herbs in it and the steam, and she would like cover herself and the
Mhm.
steam come up, and she'd be doing some like when I came here,
Mhm.
my friends would tell me like, oh my God, that's so old fashioned. Like I was like playing
Yeah.
it down. I was like, oh my God, my mom's stuff. Like I don't want to do that. Then I
Mhm.
started research. I'm like, oh, is that's actually what my mom was doing? Like she
Yeah.
was steaming. I didn't even know, but this is something that goes on in our culture. But we
Yeah.
don't really talk about the benefit truly like
Yeah.
that. We
Um,
don't even know what it is. We don't put a name to it. We just know after birthing, you sit on hot water. Like sometimes some literally just hot water with, no special herbs, no affirmation in it. what have you seen like the benefit for even women who have had babies, right? Being able to embody that.
Yeah, I would say what I've seen for postpartum care for women with vaginal steaming is that it does a great thing where the properties of the herbs would
Hmm.
work so intricately to restore the function of the womb, and having the ability to basically re-strengthen the muscles, like being able to bring them back to their specified place, you know, and because you
I want
have
to say something. I don't want to kind of. I want to say something
uh-huh,
so great. So when I was in my rotation at school, right? So one of the
uh-huh,
rotations involved, OB rotation. That was
yeah,
my first time. I haven't had a baby yet. So
uh-huh,
I would ask permission from the mom who was birthing, natural birth at that time. And
hmm,
she's like, yeah, oh yeah, I've been prodded and brought you come on in, students. So we're
yeah,
sitting at the end of the bed because we wanted to see all the action, right? So she's
yeah,
pushing and she started pushing and I'm like, don't want to gross anybody out. I mean, our JJ opened up to that
yeah,
baby, big old head coming out,
yeah,
and opened up to
yes,
that.
it's a
And
shift.
some
Everything
of us
shift.
almost wanted to pass out, but
Yeah,
the thing is, yes, it does go back naturally. But what you're saying, I wanted to just make sure I'm telling to a woman here, because sometimes we've had boyfriends or fiancés,
yeah,
even husbands or partners who have told us, "Oh my God, you're down there, it's
mhm,
loosey goosey. Oh
mhm,
my God, I feel nothing. You're like
yeah,
so." I'm just being goofy, but this is
mhm,
real world stuff, and you
yeah,
can really be impacted like in our
mhm,
heads, and sometimes it's such shame associated with, especially a woman who have had babies, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I am not tied down there,
right,
everything is loose, I don't feel the same way, it's just
mhm,
gooey.
mhm,
Saying something restorative, I love
yeah,
to, I wanted to kind of re-emphasize
yeah,
how the doctor said, oh no, don't worry about that, it goes back to what it is. But you're
yeah.
saying with V-steaming, because of the heat, the
Yeah, the water, the herbs, yes, the
water,
properties, yes.
I wanted to just jump in. Please go ahead and finish your teaching about,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
we have been traumatized as women.
yeah,
We
yeah.
have
And the thing is, what's so unfortunate about it too, Gina, is that like we've been taught that like I don't know anything outside of what can be recommended is so taboo,
so
especially
taboo.
when before we even had the advances of what we have now. This is where it all started. You
Not to
know,
talk
it
about,
is.
like, people always talk about body counts, even like, oh my god,
Yeah.
she's a whole, she's being like, her nowadays, like, but this is our society and our communities,
It's
especially
yeah.
counterparts, maybe for lack of also knowing what the
Yeah.
vagina is all about. These are things that are
Mhm.
just not taught in school for
Mhm.
a young man, a grown-up
Right.
man. But this is the narratives in our communities, like, oh my gosh, she has like 100 body counts. She probably
Mhm.
like not even like, don't play with her.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
but it's
It's
like,
like an ignorance
for
too.
real.
Yeah. Yeah.
So talk to us about the restorative, nature of feasting in
Mhm.
some of the stuff that I'm kind of trying to touch on that has
Mhm.
plagued us as women,
Yeah.
young women, blah blah blah.
Yeah. So the ingredients in these herbs, these properties have the ability to tighten, to
Hmm.
strengthen, to
Mhm.
cleanse. I'm talking about antiviral,
Mhm.
antiseptic properties, having the ability to work one on one with our natural organs and to basically just give it a hug. Like it literally feels like it's like I would say TLC for your
Mhm.
womb. That's exactly what it is. And when people say, well, how can that happen? I always want to reaffirm to them that you are a part of this natural stimulation that we have going on here. You are not detached from the earth. So anything that we use, it's not disconnected from us. It just takes for us to trust it and to give it space to help us and how it was intended. Nothing that is here that can be produced. Well, you do have some things that are toxic, of course,
Right.
but you know, with with time, what has been taught to us, from generations down to now, we
Right.
know from observation, from testing, from trial and error that no, these some of these herbs have the ability to really restore and renew our bodies.
Yes.
So I would say this, that with the process of postpartum care,
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that like women have come to me expressing, like, some insecurities that they may have
Mm-hmm.
encountered at postpartum,
Mm-hmm.
how their bodies don't feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to reiterate to them that when you're using water, heat, and the properties from these herbs, they work together in a very beautiful way,
Mm-hmm.
where they can work as a team with your organs
Right.
to restore your organs, to bring them back to where they were before you gave birth. And also, not just that, but being able to heal the organs,
Mm-hmm.
to, like, and not just like physically, but whatever may have been released during your birth, these herbs will go in and just like create just like a miraculous healing for it. I know it sounds so taboo, it can sound so cliche in how I describe it, but me being a spiritual person, I look at it like this is how God is so intentional. Like,
Yes.
God makes no mistakes, that God can produce, can bring forth something to us from the ground up, that can do everything that it needs to do for our bodies. Like, it's really that simple. Though we've been detached from that philosophy or that knowing, it's very much so true. Like,
Yes.
it's not as complicated as we have been conditioned to believe,
Yes.
that it's all that we need,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
And um and it's just like, when you think about it, it's just I would say also, when you talked about how you've discovered that, like, centuries down, this is like these, like, women would use the water and the herbs to do their healing. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's just so imperative that we get back to our roots, and it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter where you come from. In every
Absolutely.
culture, you can discover that this was in fact something that was
Mm-hmm.
used. Herbal medicine was used down the line, even if it was a flower, even if it was, you know, like we know commonly, we know of mint, we know of like parsley, we know of basil, we know of these common herbs, lavender, rose,
Not to mention
calendula.
MJ sometimes.
Yeah, we know these
they're,
herbs, but
they're
there's so
herbs.
much more. Rosemary, and we usually have used them,
Mhm.
down the line for, like, your immune system, like to treat like coughs or sickness or whatever. But we didn't know that these same herbs can also help other functions of the body as well.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, it just really just takes being able to just trust it,
Right.
and
Yeah.
have an openness to trust.
And you have
Mhm.
you have teas as well that I love so much
Mhm.
with a little touch of lemon. Oh my God, so good. And
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about
Hmm.
I know you are mobile, which is first of all amazing.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to talk about like having one or two or parties for women and men as
Mhm.
well. Tell us a little bit. Like if you're here, somebody's listening, say, "Hey, this all sounds so amazing." First of all, Shaina will travel to you. So, like,
Yeah.
this is like, you don't even have to worry about it where you are.
Mhm.
You want to organize one or two of you guys. You don't want to do it solo. You can do it. But I see that you've had some events in the past. Is there anything in the pipeline? Your location. Tell us a little bit about the parties that you do.
Uh-huh.
how does it look like, and how can we, look for those for 2024 and beyond?
Yeah. So I'm
Hey.
pretty open. I like
Mhm.
to allow my customers to come with their suggestions, and
I
I'm
love
able
that.
to navigate and be as flexible as possible with
Mm.
what their desires are. Um, but being mobile, it makes me very flexible. I can provide steaming services for, like, an intimate gathering.
Right.
For now, my max is couple steaming, so just two for now.
Right.
But there can also be a rotation. So if you wanted to do like a small gathering of,
Mm.
and incorporating bee steaming into the gathering, um, it can be like take turns basis.
Mm.
And I'll make sure, like, the preparation is on point for that. But
Mhm.
yeah, I can offer my services for that as
Yeah.
well. So couple steaming, small gatherings, um, one-on-ones,
Right.
it
Wow.
even like consultations. Like if you just wanted to just learn more about the practice,
Right.
I'm open to just, chat, and to answer all questions, all curiosities, whatever there is that may be, swimming in your mind in
Right.
relation to
Yeah.
be swimming. I'm always open to providing um, my insight and
Yeah.
provide a listening ear. So
Yeah.
that's what I have for now. A location. Maybe that could be in the works in the near future.
Hey,
Um,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that.
So, but
Yeah.
what I like about the mobile steaming is it gives people the opportunity to create um, their own, vibe, and I'm just facilitating. I'm just offering the
Yeah.
extra TLC, but they're able to set their own vibe and make it as comfortable for them as they would want it to be, because sometimes it's the first time for them,
Yeah.
so they're already nervous. So I feel like, if I'm coming into your space,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, everything around me is already familiar, everything around me is already mine, so
Right.
I'm already comfortable and able to,
Right.
ease into it better. So that's what I like about the mobile steaming.
Yeah. That's really
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. There's more
Yeah.
comfort where, especially if you're a woman who's postpartum too,
Mm-hmm.
baby's there, they'll feel a little more at ease knowing they don't have to travel, which is, the awesome thing, like with
Yeah.
reinventing how self-care can look like and how
Mm-hmm.
accessible it can be. But this is why we're doing what we're doing, to spread the word about,
Mm-hmm.
hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is here too, this is available
Yes.
to
Yes.
all of us. And you
Mm-hmm.
will definitely link your website on the thing, and we'll share it so you can share it with your community as well.
Yes.
So we can, but because this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one day in the future we'll talk about, some other, the herbs, different things like that, including, I just
Yeah.
want to allude to it, even the use of MJ. And I don't want to use the whole word here.
Mm-hmm.
Managing trauma,
Mm-hmm.
managing, affirmation, sleep, even helping with that flow overall
Yeah.
with our partner.
Yes.
Thank God it's legal here in Connecticut. I'm a practitioner,
Mm-hmm.
um, who really support the use of MJ in healing anxiety, trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and especially also with women's health
Yeah.
is a big area.
Mm-hmm.
CBD is another big area. THC
Mm-hmm.
in different forms.
Yes.
Been doing those drops. Listen, when I go to massage here, and then when I have the privilege to be able to do it, now
Yeah.
they offer those. They're like, hey, can we add a little CBD to your massage? Oh yeah, I'm like, wow, that's so transformational because it's
Yeah.
so natural. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe having a session where we talk about how to incorporate the use of MJ and different versions for
Mm-hmm.
us as women and help us heal
Yeah.
and do life adulting even in
Mm-hmm.
a more holistic, maybe for lack of word, holistic way.
Yes.
So, any last minute words for our listeners before we?
I would just say,
Hmm.
um, be good to yourself, be patient,
Mm.
and know that growth, there's no beginning or end to it. Um, just dive in and play, and be as open as you need to be, um, to receive the desires of your heart and to transform in whichever way that you desire to, because we're also deserving of that. Life already has its challenges, its melodramas. So just be kind to ourselves, and don't be afraid to answer that intuitive call, that intuitive nudge that you may feel to get more connected to yourself.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
Yeah,
What's better, right? What's better than
yeah,
to that have that connectivity
yeah,
to the self,
yeah,
and be present than
yeah.
on the outside.
Yeah, because it's not selfish. It's honestly one of the best ways you can truly show up and be as useful and be as essential to others, is when you're able
Mhm.
to really fuel yourself and to take care of yourself. So
Gosh. Listen, if you're out there, and especially with February and next week coming up, oh yeah, I mean, Valentine's Day, the
yeah,
love you're looking for. What other way? Reach out to Shaina and give yourself
yeah,
some love. Anything
right. Give
else
it
that comes after is
16.
extra. Go
Right.
try
Start
V-Steam.
with yourself first. Right.
Exactly. Hey, if the other stuff that comes after the V-Steaming,
Right.
kudos
That's
to
on
you.
you. But start
But
with self care.
exactly. At
Exactly.
least you have self-care, you have self-loved. A
Mm-hmm.
month of love, month of the heart. Even
Yes.
in cardiology, February is the month of loving our hearts, caring for our heart, and
Yes.
everything in life it connects to our mind, our soul, and our
Mm-hmm.
hearts. So
Mm-hmm.
out of our hearts flows the issues of life. But what kind of flow do you want to have? Jump
Mm-hmm.
in and play. Shayna, I love that when you say that.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, sis, if you're listening, jump in and play. Reach out to Shayna, get your self love, self care, wellness thing, okay? On
Yes.
that note, as I always say, if you can whip it in your mind, you can whip it down there in your vision. You can't whip it everywhere else in your life. I'm crazy as hell, but I'm saying it's true.
Yes.
Self care, self love, jump in and
Mhm.
play. I love that, and hopefully, I can catch you again one
Yeah.
of these days on this street, trying to figure out life thing, and maybe we can have other discussions concerning
Yeah.
incorporating MJ, V steaming, and healing overall.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
my sister in the wellness space.
Yes.
I appreciate your time so, so much. I will be in touch. And to all our viewers, please share this, click the like button, and we'll get you in the next video. Thank you so much. Have a great
Thank
weekend.
you. You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.